no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. We haven't messed it up in a long time. Hell yeah. I know my dogs are watching, and if you ain't, I know you will be. And if you are watching and you ain't my dog yet, you will be, because I'm sweet and I'm here to help you get busy living. That's one epic adventure once a month for the next 45 months, guys. We got 55 to go, and we've already done a whole bunch. So come back every Thursday and tune in to find out what we're up to, what we've been doing, what we're going to be doing. And today we have an extra special guest. She's a world-class life coach. She's written a book on persistence. And with so many of us dreaming big and falling short, she knows the key missing ingredient. She's going to share all of her tips with us. But first, since nothing is worth having if it ain't worth sharing, please allow me to introduce my co-pilot and co-journalist, co-on the journey. How do you say it again? Guys, put your hands together for the dynamic D-Rex.
Thank you. I'm happy. I am happy to be here once again. Oh yeah, you're always we're laughing because right before we went live, we said haven't messed up this intro in quite a while, and then we made an error. And if you caught it, then you were lucky, and if you didn't, then I don't know what you're talking about. But we are happy that you are here as well, and and if you're watching right now, please say hello in the comments, because we're always wanting to know who is here. Can't see unless you comment, and we definitely want you to chime in today with our special guest who's going to teach us how to achieve great things through the power of persistence. Melanie Levitz is an amazing person. She does many, many things and has a very interesting life story. So we have a lot of things to talk about.
First, though, I just want to let everybody know that we have a new team member.
And hey, there she is.
What's up, girl?
I'm gonna move her to the middle.
Oh,
hi, Carol.
So happy to see you guys again.
Yes, welcome back. And you know what I felt, I got to tell you, I just got a warm little tingle saying to our audience that we have a new team member. You know, that warm, fuzzy feeling you get in your tummy. You know, so I just want to say thank you for all of the things that you've been helping me with. I'm going to give you an opportunity to talk a little bit about, you know, what you've been doing since you've become a part of the team. I mean, you've always been a part of the team as far as ever since the Help Sweetie Walk Again organization was founded, when it was just a Facebook page, being that you were in the ICU with me and giving me hand massages and feeding me before I could feed myself. And you were there the first time I had a bite of chocolate after I got injured. So you've been a team member all along, but now the fact that you've been helping us out with so many other things makes it a completely different, it's a whole nother level. And I really do mean it from the bottom of my heart. So thank you so much for the things that you've been doing. So why don't you tell me a little bit about what it's been like and you know, injecting your persistent techniques into the Get Busy Living project and into the Help Sweetie Walk Again story.
Well, it has been an honor for me to be part of it, because inspiring you to do what I do is huge. Like, I just came here to help you with the basic things in life, but we ended up like inspiring each other and adding to improve your health and your eating habits and your workout routines. It has been so much fun. I really enjoy it, and I'm so excited. Like, we're here getting busy living, and we're trying to inspire this amazing community to be better every day. So I'm super happy to be here.
Amen. I know that D-Rex got a little woody there when you said community, because I know that it's always been something that's been special to me. I've been a person that cares about my friends all the way to the core. And so with me, it's kind of somewhat common without saying, but D-Rex has been such a proponent of it. And anytime we've talked about where we want this thing to go and something that we're going to be proud of and look back on, it's that we're going to build a community of people that believe in the principles that we're sharing and that have a genuine interest in getting busy living. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. And there's something special about this week's episode, as far as the key ingredient that our guest is going to talk about. But you've been you've been an embodiment of this particular personality trait of persistence, because I mean, you've been a very dedicated person. And when people think about persistence, probably the most common thing that people feel where they're lacking is their persistence in exercising. And you are a model of that kind of persistence.
Yes, I am. I'm super focused, and it makes me more excited to know that somebody joined me to do it, and it makes me feel better, and it gives me more excitement. So I'm so grateful that I'm doing here this with you, because I can tell you're improving your health, you're happier every day, you feel better at the end of the day, and it has been amazing.
D-Rex, remember when you came to visit last summer and we went Goodwill hunting?
Yeah, that was fun. We were furnishing the house.
Remember you bought me a shirt?
Mm-hmm.
And I tried to wear it, and it was like trying to squeeze Chris Farley into a little coat.
So is that your goal? You're going to squeeze into this shirt?
Absolutely. We talked about it that day. I was like, I'll never fit that. And you're like, well, then it's a goal. And I was like, all right, then $10.
We're getting there.
I think I can't wait to see that. And Caro, thank you so much for being part of Swede's health journey, because everybody knows that, if you don't have your health, you have nothing. So it's really at the root of everything that's going to happen. Everything that we're going to set in motion really sets on top of Swede's health. So it's one of the most important things there is.
Is 100%. And when I found myself having a second lease on life and knowing what was in front of me, I knew that there's not going to be any way for me to have true longevity or sustained success if I didn't get a grip on my eating habits. And that's why I decided to go back to school and study nutrition, because that's like the key to understanding how to have good balance in life. And so exercise is really only about 20% of what your overall health is. It's more 80% nutrition. And I'm proud to say that Caro has injected. She's very persistent in both things, and there's two things that she's been helping me out especially. So lifting weights, absolutely, I love that. In fact, that's probably the thing that I missed the most, because I've been eating all along and I have gotten in the pool, but she's been helping me lift weights, and that is money. But check this out. She's been helping me get in the pool. So I got a little video to share with you guys here about the first time that I set this up so that we could get some video about the first time that we went in there. And Jerry, my dog, went and bought me a snorkel so that I could swim, keep my face in the water and swim. Because when my collarbone down is all dead weight. So when I'm swimming in the water, like my legs are kind of like hanging as I swim, and it's almost impossible to roll over onto my side and get air. So having a snorkel has been a game changer for me in the pool. So here's a little snapshot. Check this out.
Okay.
Yeah. Hold on. I got to start it back on. Here we go. So I got a crane over there that I had to install in my pool that lowers me down into the pool. Otherwise, it'd be a shit show getting me in there. They go ahead and threw the goggles on me, and then they put a weight on me so that I could help me float. And that's what we were doing in the corner. That's what that black thing is. And then they came over, and I wasn't aware of it that the video had stopped recording, and I ended up swimming 14 laps that day.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
So Jerry was walking with me the whole time, making sure because obviously it's my first time doing something like that. And being that all it takes is one full breath of water in your lungs and you're screwed. So thankfully, Jerry was willing to walk with me the entire time and be right next to me and make sure that nothing happened. So, I mean, how can I express my gratitude, for having friends like you guys that are willing
it's amazing.
Both of you on screen, and I'm about to introduce another one here in a minute. You guys are making a huge impact on my life. And I just hope that that we do a good enough job at this, that I don't let you guys down. Last week, D-Rex, I'm telling you, last week took the dark cloud away. You said the right things. We had the right workflow, and I feel so much better this week. I don't know if do I look better?
Excellent. Well, you look happier. Yeah. You look happier. Yeah. Maybe it's all trapped in that beard hair.
No, but seriously, last week's episode, guys, if you weren't tuned in last week, go ahead and go to the Get Busy Livin YouTube channel and click on the podcast episodes. And last week's episode was money for me, man. And that's what we hope to do here, is that we hope to provide, a place for you guys to go to look into what other people are experiencing and how life is affecting them and how we react to it in order to live a purposeful and deliberate and intentional life, to get busy living. So we're not just being busy while we're alive. We're not just alive. We're getting busy living. And I got to say, this person that I'm about to introduce to you guys. So this girl is the epitome. Like, I'm telling you, I love Scooty Wells to death. That's my dog. And he's been the model for me. He's the one that, showed me how he was getting busy living. And he is as good as anybody. But I got to tell you, Scooty Wells, this girl's making a run for the money. She is getting busy living. You know what I'm saying? So D-Rex, you want to help me bring the guest?
Yes, absolutely. Today's guest is Melanie Levitz, international speaker and author, and here she is.
Yeah.
Welcome, Melanie. Let's get you unmuted. Go ahead and.
Hello.
Our producer is a whack job.
I did not do that. I think it's so wonderful that you're here today. Thank you for joining us, Melanie. There's so much to talk about with you. And I think that first we can introduce you as Swede's friend and life coach. Yes?
Yes, absolutely. 100%. It's an honor to be his friend and inspire him to continue doing what he does best, get busy living.
Hell yeah. So I'm just going to say that if it wasn't for you, Mel, I wouldn't know this girl over here. So thank you very much for believing in me and pulling me into what is today one of my all-time favorite ventures I've ever been a part of, because I made so many spectacular friends and I learned so much about life and myself by taking part in that venture with you. But during our path while we were walking that path is how I was able to cross paths with Caro. So it's my honor and pleasure to have you both here with me right now.
Well, Melanie, I'm so excited to see you next month. I heard that you're coming here, so I can't wait to see you. And I haven't seen you forever. And if I know somebody in this world persistent, that's you. So I can't wait to hear all your tips and advice about persistent, because I admire you so much and I know how persistent you are. So
thank you, beautiful. I'm very excited to see you next month also in Phoenix and go to some pool parties out there.
Hell yeah. So listen, Caro, thanks for spending some time with us. You're welcome to hang out in the comments with us and say hello to our other friends. And we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about Melanie. So thanks, Caro. We love you. And we'll see you again very soon.
Bye, Caro.
Bye.
So Mel, a question I pose often, and I don't want to hang on this too long because D-Rex has a good lineup for us. But do you remember where you were when you heard that I got injured?
Oh man, I know it was during the holiday season, and I got a phone call. I believe it was from when you were in the hospital in Bali, and they called me and told me what had happened. And at the time, I think I was at my dad's house, and I was just blown away. You know, when you get bad news, you're just like, you don't believe it's real. Like you feel like you're living in a movie. And at the time, it was just like, okay, well, what do you guys need? What can I do? What can I support? And I remember that they were just reaching out to everybody to see about just sharing the word, you know, getting more people involved and participating in getting you back to the U.S. so that you can seek medical attention like you needed. And at that time, I was just pretty aggressively reaching out to the Steelers and like every day messaging them and telling them your story so that we can get some kind of support from, you know, a major industry. And, you know, thanks to Scott and your team that was there with them, you know, they really just made things happen. And I was ready to take the next flight, and they're like, no, we got enough people here, and just share the word. And I was like, okay, but if you need anything, just let me know. And at the time, we had a service with our company that would allow people to fly back from any location privately to the US. And I remember knowing that you were a member of our club. And I was like trying to figure out if we could get that situated. It just didn't work out in that way, but we did figure out how to get you home and get the medical attention you needed.
Yeah, you know, there is a dozen or maybe 3 dozen people that flash into my brain when I think that I want to have as guests on the show, and thank them for putting forth the type of effort that you did. I don't know, I was obviously unconscious during it, but I've been able to look back at social media and see the activity. And I know that you're up there among the hardest workers. I mean, I remember at one point I was really, really emotional, and I was on that page, and I was like making a list of the people, and I was formulating this like really sincere apology that I think would have been way over the top. When I was logging like the hours of the day that you were awake, I thought that would demonstrate how thankful I was for me to be able to tell you that I realized that you were up at 3 o'clock in the morning sending messages still. And, you know, there's a lot of you that really put in a lot of work to help me get to where I'm at, you know. So thanks to you and people like you that were so aggressive. And aggressive is an understatement. I mean, obviously I wasn't consciously witnessing it, but there's a digital track record, and I appreciate you so much and love you for that.
Yeah, love you for life, brother.
So, and it's been, you know, as far as like talking to D-Rex about people that are going to be exciting guests, yeah, I was all about, you know, talking about you, and she's heard lots of great things about you ever since. So I heard you guys had a really interesting conversation the other day.
Yeah. I think that, you know, if people are really going to get to know you, it'd be really good if we could just kind of quickly get some background on you, because I think there's some interesting things to talk about. I think that the people who watch this podcast, they either want to travel or do travel. And you found a way to travel in your young life. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yes, absolutely. So I always had a passion for travel, and being from South Florida, our trips consisted of going to Disney World. So it wasn't really much out of the state or taking flights, because I kind of grew up learning what not to do. Both my parents were the troublemakers of their families. So I decided that after high school, the best opportunity for me to travel and get an education was to join the United States Air Force. The best way of living the lifestyle for somebody that just wants to make a career out of their travel experiences. So not knowing that I would, you know, do more travel elsewhere, but I felt like it would be the best path. And coming across a guy in particular who knew of this amazing industry where you could leverage other people's time and earn a spare time income to full-time income was a part of a travel club. And he actually decided to show me, coincidentally, thinking that I was part of another company, when he came to pick up my friend that was visiting from Korea. So once I saw what he shared with me, it was a complete yes. To know that I could take $69 cruises or take all-inclusives for a couple $100, it was a no-brainer. But when he asked me at that time if I wanted to make money sharing it with my friends, it was a complete yes also, because I knew I was going to share it regardless. But when he asked me how much I wanted to make, that's when I was clueless. At the time, I was a college student. I was active duty in the Air Force. I was living paycheck to paycheck. The benefits are great in the military, but the pay isn't good. And I looked at him and I was like, well, I just maxed out my credit card to join. So how about we just start paying that off? And next thing I know, I got all my money back in my first month. I started attending these events that would inspire me to continue to share it with more people.
The events are what it's about. For real.
Yes.
So before we go any further, let's just very, very quickly explain in a more thorough way to people. This is a travel club that you stumbled upon and became a superstar within. Now this travel club, if you could just tell people really quickly what it is.
Yes. So before the pandemic, it was just travel, and it allowed you to join a club at a membership, kind of like BJ's or Costco, and be able to shop for travel, a la carte or curated trips at wholesale prices. And now after the pandemic, it's become a lifestyle because we've incorporated a skincare, because people that like to travel want to look good and feel great, and a wellness line as well.
Very cool. This is a big thing. So you were able to do this while you were in the Air Force?
Yeah. So I was doing it part-time, just again, make a couple $100, pay off some credit card debt. And next thing you know, and within 3 years, I replaced my entire 12-year Air Force income, which was at the time $40,000 a year. So I was like, wait a second, I'm making more money part-time. I'm having way more fun. I'm working way less, and I'm doing it with people that I actually want to be with. Why don't I switch my full-time career and make it my part-time deal, and have my part-time gig make it my full-time gig? So at that point, 10 years ago, I transitioned from active duty to the reserves, which I still serve today.
You mentioned that when you, the way you were introduced to it, like, somebody saw you and assumed that you were already doing something similar. And that just makes me think about, because Mel, you got this vibe. Girl, your energy in the room, like the curtains move when you walk into the room, like you've got a vibe, like you're vibrating. And so, yes, it's safe to say that they probably already assumed that you were like already killing it in some manner, and it's funny because I've met celebrities, and enough of them, and ones that I admired enough to like feel starstruck by them. I was never starstruck by any of the celebrities I've ever met, but I remember hearing of you before we hung out, which our first hangout session was pretty cool. And I remember once I met you, just the way that you move and the way that you engage people, like I felt it. I was like, this girl is doing big things. I don't know what exactly it was, but I knew that you were doing big things. You definitely got a vibe.
Thanks, Dwayne. Yeah, for sure. And at the time that I met you, I was like just starting to do big things, not knowing exactly where it was going, just enjoying the process.
I think that's super important. That is a super important point. You have to really enjoy your journey. It can't be about some destination. In fact, I was reading that the joy that you get from reaching your destination or your goal is fleeting. But if you can get your joy from the journey, it's much more longer lasting and much more satisfying. So you started in this travel club when you met Swede. And through that travel club, you were able to rise through the ranks and become a public speaker and an author. And, did you plan these things at all? Did you think you would ever end up here?
No, like I said, when I started, I just wanted to save on a ton of my vacations and pay off some credit card debt, or make some, go on some extra trips with some extra money. Once our team started growing, I remember calling my sponsor and being like, oh my gosh, do you know who just joined? Like, who's this person, or who's that person? And they call it the third phase in growth in any kind of business, which is momentum. And once you create a team and your team starts sharing it with other people, you start having a leveraged income where those people are earning income, but it's all the way up to you as well. And as our team continued to grow, as you make more income, they want you to share your experience and how you're doing it with others. So they have what we call a trainer's academy that allowed you to learn how to get on stage, how to, your presence, your body language, your speech, and all those great things, and of public speaking. And then, of course, the skill set that it takes to be able to teach others how to do it as well, which is what I loved about our industry, because you have people helping you that don't even benefit off you financially with your sales, that are more than happy and willing to teach you how to get the results that they did. Whereas in the Air Force, we couldn't even help each other rank up and test on our tests, because it was not allowed. So this is an amazing community of support that helps you become a better person, that helps you with your skills, and helps you become financially free.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And it also helped you become the person you are today. Now, when you were younger, did you expect to be in anything like this? What were your goals and dreams when you were younger?
When I was younger, I wanted to be an actress or a model, but being 5'1" is really not possible to do. And I didn't have a very supportive mom. My mom was always like, you're going to do your chores first, because if you fail school, at least you can be a janitor and clean.
Oh,
yeah.
That's aiming high, right?
Real high.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely. So I didn't know, other than being, in the military and learning teamwork and a little bit of leadership skills, it wasn't towards the end of my active duty career that I was put in a position that I would lead in office. And as I closed that chapter and stepping into a team that was growing on its own, kind of like was leadership fell on my lap, and I had to learn to adapt to become a great leader rather than having a choice to be a leader or not.
You're a natural. I was blown away by you from the very first moment. I hope that you feel the same, but I felt instantly like we clicked. Like I spoke your language and you had that vibe. And I can't think of a boring moment ever between the two of us. And, like we've hung out on the other side of the globe. When you were an international trainer and I seen Mel come over there and put on a show, this girl is, what are you, Mel? Like 3'6", something like that. But she looks huge on stage.
I'm 5'1.5".
And a half.
Yeah.
Okay, so I need to know now. Okay, so you co-wrote this book on persistence. How did that come about?
Yeah, for sure. So this is my book, Persist Until Success Happens. And one of the top leaders was looking for co-authors and reached out to me and said, hey, you have a great story. We'd love to add you to the book. It's actually forwarded by Les Brown. So I was very intrigued because Les Brown is a very influential speaker.
Wow, yeah.
And I always knew that once you're in the book, your name is forever known. So I wanted to leave that mark, as well as know that I needed some experience to start just in a chapter before I was able to start my own book in the future.
Excellent. Well, these are all things that people would hope they would do one day. And I think, you've accomplished these things at a relatively young age. So do you ever just take time to experience the gratitude for that on kind of a daily basis? Because I think those are huge. And that's probably part of your life coaching as well, right?
Yes, absolutely. The first thing that I do in the morning is I replant out of my Bible. The next thing I do is read my daily quotes, as well as my 5-minute journal app. So I do journal, and I do have gratitudes in there and I am statements, and read my desires and plan what I want to achieve in the next 6 months to a year. And then I also go on to Instagram and I find a very beautiful travel destination video and share that. And then I either do a list of I am gratefuls or I ams of what I am or what I aspire to be.
I have to ask you, because we didn't even get to that. Like, how did you get into life coaching? This is a lot. This is a lot that you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So growing up, as I mentioned, my parents were the troublemakers, and my mom would attend meetings for her habits, and I would go to attend the meetings with her as support, realizing that I kind of needed the support as well, as I was also a troublemaker in my teens. And at this one particular event, they were allowing people to catch this beach ball, and if you caught the beach ball, you could go up on stage and share your story. So I caught the beach ball and I went up on stage, and I was probably 16.
And you just had the nuts to do it. Most people get stage fright, but you just were like, I can do it.
Yeah, I was like ready to go. And I had already talked in front of people. They would ask me to share my story in front of small rooms. And then when I caught the beach ball and I was in front of a big conference room, it must have been 500-600 people. I was really inspired to, especially after the fact, knowing that people came up to me to tell me how much they were inspired by my story and how they gained the belief through me for themselves. I was like, whoa, this is really cool. But not knowing that that would later on be what my most passion is, and knowing that I became a speaker in the travel space, and now with the lifestyle between, looking good and feeling great, I found that my passion is to serve and help people be their best version of themselves. So just before the pandemic, after I had trained all around the world, over 20 stages, places like Cyprus, Australia, and Singapore, I found that I wanted to reach more people and do it online. So for a year during the pandemic, I studied how to launch my own coaching courses online and market myself through social media. And through that, I was able to help a lot more people and find that my biggest passion, like Swede, was to get people in their rhythm of having success and achieving the goals. And like you said, it's about enjoying the process. It's about enjoying the journey, because once you achieve the goal and you know you're going to achieve it because it's within reach, it's like, okay, you got it. And now what's the next goal? So it's always about, it's always about achieving or enjoying the process. Here's a new one I got. Look at that one.
Yeah. Oh, look at you, pretty. Fancy pants.
Yeah, I just got that one.
I have a question for you, because you said, it's within reach. So when it comes to goal setting, do you think that it's better to grab the low-hanging fruit or to reach for the stars?
I always say if your dreams don't scare you, then you're not dreaming big enough. So I have plans to be living on the beach here in a Boca Raton house right on the beach, so I could walk out, driving probably a Bentley, but a Bugatti and my Porsche, and having twins, and of course a cook and a masseuse in house, all these great things. Yeah, this is the life that we should all be living. We should all strive for. I mean, if other people are doing it, why can't we?
I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it.
If somebody else is doing it, it's possible, right?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yep. Opens your eyes.
And why not think big? If you're going to spend time thinking, or you're going to spend time living, why not? And I feel like when I ask that question, I can hear some of my closest and most favoriteest people answering that question genuinely from their heart, and them believing it, that their answer is viable. But when it's anything less than, why would you spend any time putting energy into anything that's not going to get you a step closer to your dreams? Look, take time off, watch a sitcom. I take time off during football season, probably way too much time. But when you're working, why not work on something awesome rather than just work on something easy, And I think that part of when I was talking about this show coming up, part of what I was saying is that so many of us have dreams. We all have dreams when we're little kids. What's the difference between 5 and dreaming about being Superman, which you guys have all heard that story if you haven't, looked in the back past episodes. But I know I'm not going to be Superman today. I'm not going to fly, but maybe I will in so many ways. How do we know that by the time it's all said and done, I don't have like rockets for legs or something, But why not continue to pursue your dreams? At what point do we just allow ourselves to just work for somebody else's wealth and just get, as long as we're getting enough per hour, that's enough to make us happy at home. That's fine. I understand. Get happy at home. But when you're at home, after you've made your dollars that day that make the ends meet, why not spend some time that night trying to make some serious dough or cheese? Why are people so oftentimes settling for less? And I believe the key ingredient and the thing that we don't incorporate and that beats us is that we're not persistent about staying on the grind. It's so easy to get set back. So easy. And being that I'm confined to this chair, believe me, I get setbacks. And I got to be honest with you, I'm starting to get a little bit dizzy, so I'm going to check out for a second.
And the best thing is that, when you are dreaming big, you are increasing your endorphins. You start feeling good. You visualize where you should be in life, and you have desires and affirmations, or you have what's the word I'm looking for? You have hope, and it feels good. And the reason why people don't stay persistent long enough to get the results is because it's always easier to do nothing. And if it's easy to do nothing, then it's easy to fall into depression. It's easy to feel bad. It's easy to feel sorry for yourself, rather than just understanding that what you focus on expands. So I rather focus on bigger and greater things. We are human beings that are always evolving, adapting, and changing. In all of human history time, there's never been a time, a period, a decade where people did nothing. We were always growing and adapting. So why not be in that moment where you're happy? And when you're happy, you're most likely out there doing the things that you love to do, or are setting goals to do those things.
I do want to ask you a little bit about your life coaching philosophy, because it's one thing to tell people to have persistence, but how do you coach people into being more persistent?
Yes, there's tools like Sweet just pointed out, our calendar. I found this law of attraction calendar, Freedom Mastery, that allows you to track your results, that allows you to stay accountable to your actions. And when you are tracking your results, you're getting somewhere. You can look back and realize that you are moving forward, rather than looking at, okay, what didn't work, or how you failed this week, or what issue or challenge came up. Instead, you're looking back and realizing, like, wow, I did do a lot this month. I did do a lot this last year. And having the understanding that you are doing what you need to do to get where you need to go. And then it's just a matter of tracking your time. We all get 24 hours in a day. So of course you have to give up things in life to get what you want for a short period of time. And then when you're able to have more time, you can bring back the things that meant the most to you. For me, it's very important, because in the beginning in my business, I would grind, like Sweet said, I would grind, and then I would get burned out, and I would not understand why I fell off track for a week, a month, or a month at a time, rather than understanding that there's only one important law that is assigned to ourselves, and that is the day of rest. And if you're able to take that time for yourself and do what you want to do, for even if it was just half a day, you're going to revive your soul. You're going to find that power to be like, okay, I did what I want. Now I can go continue to grind, like Sweet said, and do the things I need to do to get where I want to go. And then you find you're not burning out anymore.
So do you feel that, like, if people aren't, maybe persistence is their weak spot, do you feel like that can be learned? Or do you feel like it's inherent in everyone? Or do some people not have the ability to keep going?
Yeah, I found that I didn't even know the difference between consistent and persistent. Consistent just means you're doing the work and you're staying consistent long enough to get the results.
Yeah, you can consistently be not persistent. You can consistently miss days. You can consistently screw up.
Yeah, it's true. But if being persistent means that no matter what you have to do to get the results, you're all in and you're sharing that passion with others. I find that being able to have a time managed schedule allows me to look at my calendar and fill in the gaps where I may be just not doing it or being productive, and then catching back up and being like, okay, I need to be more productive this week because last week was just a little bit more on the lazier side. So the best thing is to not beat yourself up about it, because we all go through these phases. And the best thing is just to be like, okay, it is what it is. It happens. That just shows I'm human. And then to just get back on track, because now, right this second, is the most important time that we have. I can't change the past, and I don't know what's ahead of me. So I can only change and affect what's happening right now at this moment.
Hell yeah. Last summer, D-Rex and I were, leading up to kicking this off. And if you didn't catch in the past episode, when we talked about doing it, she thought we were going to be, setting a date in the in the distant future where she'd have time to like wrap her head around this project. And I was like, no, September.
Yeah, and that was like in what, 2 or 3 weeks. He gave me 2 or 3 weeks heads up, but I thought he was going to be like 6 months.
Well, you know what made that possible is hiring you. Now, like I know that because of our friendship, luckily I got to get to know you when you came off the stage, and we've done things like the Great Ocean Road, and we've had our share of just friend time that's not just Melanie the rock star and Swede the rock fan, and so summer when I found myself having too much to do and not nearly enough time, and I reached out to you and I was like, look, your advice is always golden, and I know you would give it to me for free if I called you and asked you questions, but I need persistency. I need to be hearing your voice. I need your advice. So, I know that you have this coaching stuff going on. Like, please put me on your schedule. And man, what a difference that made in my life. And thankfully, if you didn't catch up last week, for those of you in the audience, I've been struggling. I've had medical issues that just are like an onslaught, a nonstop barrage of medical issues, and it came to a head last week. And D-Rex helped me wrap my brain around the advice that we've given each other over the years, and reminded me of like some success principles. And what has made the difference, aside from like it reinvigorating me with that energy, is I've been using my Freedom Mastery Planner. And so
good. I'm glad you're back to that.
Going back to the persistence, that was the key, to us being successful last summer, right? Like I came to you and you're like, okay, Sweet, what can I help you do? And it took us like 3 hours to write the list because I had so many things I was working on. And then like, because of your principles and the way that you attack your grind and the way that you organize your time, what you said to me back then was, it's not that you don't have enough time. You just don't have enough organization in your time. And, thanks to you. And I recommend anybody that looks at this, and I don't know, Mel, what your schedule looks like and if you have room for more clients, but if you're struggling to be persistent, or if you know that you've got all the tools in place, but not enough time, or if you feel like you have time, but not enough tools, this girl is the one. She can help you get all of the things that are on your brain down into a plan and help you learn how to follow it. And sometimes I feel like I'm subscribing to like this daily brilliance, this daily genius that like tells me what I need to hear every day. Especially when we were in the real heat of getting me organized, when I needed you more than once a week. And we would talk often, and it was like listening to your voice and listen to how you line up your philosophies towards winning. It's get your popcorn and call Mel.
Thanks, Bree, and I'm very proud of you. And you've come a long, long way, and you've accomplished already so much. And I know that you're inspiring a lot of people with putting this together. And it's not, it's not easy, but you're making it happen. You and D-Rex are really inspiring people and doing the work. And it's not always something that you want to do or something that you have organized to plan and complete, but you always make it happen. And I know it's affecting a lot of people, and it's allowing people to see that they too can achieve the greatness and the things that you're doing as well.
Well, I appreciate that, babe.
Thank
I got to be honest. That I'm being real and authentic. I haven't hidden anything from anyone. We come on once a week. Sometimes I haven't been able to make it. Sometimes I've been locked out of my house. Sometimes I've been injured. Sometimes I've been sick. But what I've experienced is that even though there's still a lot of work to be done with the promoting, I have a nonprofit consultant that is helping me put this whole project together. And he tells me all the time when we meet, he's like, one step at a time, man. Don't put the cart before the horse, and he's like, don't worry about the number of viewers you have each week. You don't show your house to a bunch of people before it's ready. If you're trying to sell your house, you need to get it all ready before you sell it to people. You don't start calling all your friends and say, hey, in 2 years, I'm going to sell my house. No, you work on the house. And then once the house is ready for sale, then you do those things. And so part of me has, kind of been hanging heavy on the fact that we're not getting that type of progress. But the truth is that we're not putting effort into that type of progress. We're working on perfecting the angles and getting, all of the groundwork laid before we start telling everybody that, we have a podcast to watch. And for those of my friends that have showed up or that will watch, because that's what I was getting at, is that you'd be shocked at how often, especially since, our viewership numbers aren't high and our view numbers aren't high and that type of stuff yet. I'm shocked at how often I get messages from people saying, "Hey man, I watched your episode this morning, and good job, man," and or "Thank you for that topic." Like the vulnerability episode hit a lot of people in the heart, but that's happened a lot, and it's what I need, to believe that this is worth it, because I truly feel like I am now a born servant, having my life saved, and every bit of time I get is borrowed time. And to know that I'm not asking my friends to help me, like I've got so many of you guys that are my colleagues and confidants and part of my team, that we were just friends before that. And I've said, this is what I'm trying to do. Do you want to add some of your talents? And luckily Rexcellence has chipped in, and now we've got Carol on the team, and you guys already know about JFT and Scott, and there's behind the scenes people, and to know that people are actually getting something out of this. I feel like I picked the perfect co-hostess. Like she's got so much good stuff to share, that
sure.
Yeah,
I like that word "picked." You kind of arm wrestled me into it. but I'm glad that I joined.
The best thing, Sweet, is that nobody could ever take that away from you, ever. And you are holding a special place, I believe, in heaven, for a higher, better.
Whoa, don't kill me yet. Don't kill me yet.
Are we?
I had a dream that I was going to live to be 158. Okay.
You took quite a turn.
You will. But you hold a very special place there. They're waiting. Yes. And again, that's why I love doing what I do, inspiring people, is because when you get that one message and you get that one comment that people tell you, "Hey, I did this because of your story," or "I did this because of your podcast," it's like the best feeling in the world. And you can't put a price tag on that, and nobody could ever take it away from you.
That makes me think of the first podcast. So this podcast currently is only done once a week, and it is what it is when it's done. Like if you want to watch it, you're going to watch it how it happened. There's no audio version yet, but Scooty Wells and I did work on an audio podcast a couple of years ago. It was actually a school assignment. And I knew after talking with Lyric and talking with D-Rex that I was headed down this podcast life path, but because it was a school assignment, and obviously there's a method to my madness, I asked Scott to tell his story of how things went down for me from his perspective, because he had a perspective from inside, this is the baby speaking about getting born from before the birth happens. Like Scott knows how everything went down from inside the Help Sweet Walk Again, the whole entire campaign. And when we recorded that episode, in the very beginning, I did this shoddy intro, which, as you guys know, my intros are always spot on. But I did this shoddy intro, and I was like, Scooty Wells, the wolf, and the guy that inspired the Get Busy Living in me. And his first words were inspired. That's the most precious gift that you can give to somebody, is to inspire them. So I appreciate that, Swede, that you used that term. And I've listened, because I had to learn how to mix that audio down from scratch. I've listened to that cut. I've listened to that clip as much as I've listened to my text message chime. And it rings true, man. Like inspiring people to do more or to do better or to be better. Everybody benefits when you are the type of person that inspires people, and I got to be honest, I'm proud to say that I'm sharing the screen with two very inspirational people. I mean, Mel, you've walked the stage as $1 million earner, and D-Rex, Lord knows how many Glendale children are better off because of you. I know that's real. D-Rex, you do not take enough credit for the role that you play in lives. You know, first of all, I don't think there's anybody that would say that music isn't amongst their favorite things. Like if you ask somebody if they like music, that's the cheesiest conversation breaker or starter, icebreaker. Like you sit down at dinner date and you're like, so you come around here often? Do you like music? And it's like, don't use that. Everybody likes music, you know? And to know that D-Rex is injecting music into the blood of the Glendale youth that's
I think many people might not know that I have a music school and I'm a music teacher. So I'd like to explain that comment.
Please do.
But speaking of other people, can we just say hello to some people that are here, like Lori and Darren and Danielle showed up, and Kelly and Blake. So I just want to say hi to everybody and make sure that we say it's important that you're here. We're very happy to see you. And we hope that you caught all of the pearls of wisdom that Melanie's dropping.
Please, for a second, I got to say, Lori, thank you for your consistency. Lori and I have chatted briefly about, I've been toying around with this idea of, because we're trying to build a community here, of putting some more effort into some sort of digital space where we might be able to cultivate a community. And Lori has, said that she's willing to put her hand in a pile. But Lori, your presence here, talking about persistency, she's been with us almost from the start, if not from the start. I'm pretty sure it's been from close from the start. And we appreciate you coming. And just know, that the things that we're doing here, you have my word, and that's all I have in this world. And that we're going to do our part to live up to what we've talked to you about. And we appreciate that you nominated Schaefer, and he's our dude, and so thank you for being a part of this. I've already thanked Caro and I've thanked D-Rex, and Melanie has played such an integral part in my life. But Lori, the fact that you've been willing to put yourself out there and join us in this way is really special. And I really mean it when I say that I'm dedicated to making sure that we have an influence, and that we carry out our vow to you to try to help Shafe walk again, just like you guys have all helped Swede walk again. So thank you, seriously, from the bottom of my heart, for coming here. As far as Darren, Trisha. So Darren's nickname is D's Nuts. Gonna leave it at that. And DRH, that's Danielle Renee. Hey, girl, hey. I love that girl. She came up last year when Brother Doug first moved out here. Danielle came up, and me and Danielle and Brother Doug and Danielle's brother Sean went to Vegas for a Guns N' Roses concert. You want to talk about getting busy living, baby. Yeah. And then we got my sister Kelly's in the house. Love you, sis. Thank you for taking care of our other sis. I wish she was here. She's probably sitting next to you. So hello to my other sister. Blake, thanks for showing up, brother. And seriously, Danielle, I do love you. And you are due out here on the West Coast. In fact, if I can work it out so that we can get DRH, Melanie Levitz, and Rexcellence here all at the same time, that would be truly
that would be crazy. So I don't want to run out of time. There's so many.
She's out here mid-July. There she is. Hey, sis. Sorry, go ahead.
I don't want to run out of time. I really want to ask Melanie a couple more things before we have to say goodbye today. But it just seems like the way you've set up your life, it's so winning, it sounds so good. But I want to know if you have any stories of anything going wrong along the way.
Oh man. Yeah. When you said, I have this amazing life, and I remember my mom once telling me that, you live in this fairy tale world where you're always happy and everything's always working out. And I was like, yeah, well, if that's the case, then why not be in that world?
Why not join me?
Why not join me? And knowing that I was going to, be up to big things, I had assumed that, eventually I could put my life at risk. And if I was willing to do that, and if I was willing to go through some court battles, and it was always yes, because for me, it's whatever it takes to move people into action to achieving their greatest potential. I was okay with whatever it took, the sacrifice. But I never thought that my first court battle would be with my own mother. So having it, right? Yeah.
The plot thickens.
We got the fire alarm going off over here.
Uh-oh.
Fire, fire, fire. Melanie's on fire. Fire, fire, fire.
Oh, shoot. So,
Too
yeah,
hot.
I just finalized a court battle with my mom and her husband after 2.5 years just a week ago. So, yeah, we have challenges also.
Wow, I'd say. I mean, you don't have to go into details about that.
That's the point, y'all. That's the point. Nobody that's ever been successful has ever done it without getting knocked up down. Nobody.
Yeah.
If you are good at what you do, it's because you fucked up a bunch of times in the process of getting good at it. You know, and that's what people don't understand. Like, why would you do that? Like, it's going to be so hard, or it's going to cost so much money, or it's going to take so long. Like, why not? What else are you doing with all your time? You know, like.
Yeah, exactly. And I look at the challenges like, okay, I'm embracing them because it's getting me to where I need to be. It's allowing me to become the person I need to become. I always found that after I went through a challenge, whether it was a few months or a few years, it was to be able to lead people through or guide people through their challenges that were similar to mine. So I always embrace the challenge. I always look at it as a new level of personality or growth that I would become.
Hell yeah. And that's key. I mean, it's one of the keys, but to me, this is a really significant key: persistency. Because you can do really, really super good for 3 weeks or 3 months, but if you take 2 or 3 weeks or 2 or 3 months off, it's like starting over, you know. And D-Rex asked me if I had a story about persistence. Well, D-Rex, this is episode 23 of 2023. Mm-hmm. And my story of persistence is your persistence. Like we started this with no planning, and we've stayed persistent. There's been 1 week that we didn't go live on Thursday, and sorry, I had a brain tumor or something. You know, my bad. But seriously, that the persistence is that's, you know.
I think it was Thanksgiving. I think that we can take Thanksgiving off. I think we can forgive ourselves for that.
Well, yeah. I mean, we were busy giving thanks every Thursday. That's my favorite holiday. When
you know
Heather and I were like, when Heather and I were deciding how we were going to share lyrics time, I have been less invested in Christmas throughout my life, thanks to my family, and she's been more invested. Not that either of us is all the way or not at all, but less and more. And I've been heavily invested in Thanksgiving because I believe in gratitude. And so I made this maneuver with Heather where I gave her Christmas Eve and Christmas Day with Lyric every year, as long as I get Thanksgiving and Lyric's birthday, which is the day after Christmas. So luckily, that's been a very good thing for both of us. But that means, I'm just trying to tell you that because Thanksgiving is really important to me. So if I take a Thanksgiving off, y'all, don't hate the player.
Am I wrong? But is Thanksgiving always on a Thursday?
Always.
Well, I feel like every Thursday is Thanksgiving lately.
Hell yeah. I love that. So Mel, seriously, now you've done big things. You've excelled at many things. I mean, we've had our time where it wasn't bright lights and it wasn't Rockstar Melanie, where we've been sitting and just talking and being real people, which I value those moments because I get starstruck around you sometimes. But seriously, having you kind of just like tell me about the fact that it's not all sunshine and rainbows in your life and that it hasn't always been success, and you did share that stuff with your mom with me. And that's not the only struggle, you've had many struggles, and for you to stay excelling, like not that there's never been setbacks, but that your attitude has been so consistent, which I believe has been probably the motorbike that you've been riding on that's enabled you to be persistent, right? Because, persistency is a matter of effort and a matter where consistency is a result. Right. And I believe in focusing on your efforts because you can't always control the outcome. So the results are a lot of times beyond your control. You can't control if you win the game, but you can control how much effort you put in to the game. And that's something that I feel like you've been a model of. And I thank you so much for being such an inspiration to me.
Oh, thanks, sweet. I appreciate it. Yeah. And I found that there was really one thing that I learned that I could put my stress aside, that taught me how to control it more so, rather than looking back when I was a teenager and not having this personal growth or community to be a part of with supporting people, that I would blow up. I would bottle everything inside, and I would blow. At times I would just blow up and go crazy and not like that person. But when I learned not long ago that there's only two reasons to worry in life. The first reason to worry in life is to, obviously, if there's emergency, like the fire alarm just went off. I had a look. If it was no fire, then it was cool. Control, right? Leave them to the kitchen. But if there's an emergency, then yeah, obviously you're going to drop everything and you need to worry about it. If that's the first reason to worry. The second reason to worry is if you can take immediate action after the issue that you have at hand. And if the answer is no, and you have to put on your calendar, you have to wait for a certain person to do what they need to do for you to be able to accomplish and put that situation aside or complete that situation, then why worry about it? It's just going to add more stress to your life. It's going to cause more issues with your health and your well-being, rather than just knowing that you can't do anything about it right now. Just put it to the side, put it on your calendar, and worry about it at that moment. And when I learned that and I implemented it in my life, I found my life to be more peaceful. I found it to have more love and abundance and power, because I wasn't always worrying about something. And I feel like today's society and today's world is just always stressed. And, you know, with that word depression or that word anxiety didn't exist maybe 5-6 years ago. You know, that's a new word people are using all of a sudden. And it's because they're not implementing these simple tools that can help them in their lives.
So go to melanielevitz.com and get a copy of the book. And Mel, is that where people are going to go if they're interested in hiring you as their coach or getting you in their corner?
Yeah, they can go there to find out more information, or the best way is to just reach out 318-218-6680 on my cell phone. I respond to all my messages myself, or on social media at Melanie Levitz on any platform.
See, I love that. This is a person that is truly a vibe. She is an embodiment of what it means to have a vibe. It's like when you're in this person's presence, you can feel her. And Mel, it's my honor and privilege to call you my friend. I can thank you all the way to the furthest star in the universe away and back for the things that you've done for me, how much you've inspired me, how much you've helped me hands-on. I mean, you've actually put my socks on my feet, and you have put money in my bank, and you have put courage in my heart. So, I mean, I cannot thank you enough, but I can hug your head off when you get here in July.
Sure. Can't wait to see you.
Hell yeah. It looks like a DRH might be here. She's in the comments. She says, I'm down. Uh-oh. Yay. So now my other sister, Hojo, spoke up. Maybe we can get my other sisters here. If I can get my sister, and then my Rexcellence and my Magical Mel and my DRH all here, I mean, I don't know if I'll be able to make it through that. I might just explode and go to heaven. Oh, and you know, Carol's going to be here. Carol just chimed in and said, thank you, Melanie. So seriously. It's been an honor. And Mel, we're going to talk in July. I've got some things that I think that you'll be really interested in and learning about. And you might just want to put your hand in the pile a little bit more than you already have at that point too. So until July, I know I'll be seeing you again. But thanks again. And please, always remember, no matter the weather, always remember, whether sunshine or rain, there's no joy without pain. Always remember, we're all in this together. Can I get a hell yeah?
Hell yeah.
It's a great day to be alive.
Bye, everyone.
You can see it when you see me, but you gotta believe me. Ain't nothing coming easy. My